Okay, so a quick mention about groceries and cooking at home. As you can see, this is part of the Klong Doi market. It's open 24 hours. It's probably the cheapest place. It goes all the way back there, all the way across there, all the way down. You can see how far it goes down there, all the way down to the other side as well. It's massive, it's huge, and basically if Thai people eat it, it's here. And a lot of it's alive. It's a wet market, lots of live fish, live chickens. It's a really, really hot day today, and it does smell like a farm, you know. So I'm going to run through, and I'm going to try and do this quickly because I want to show you the variations of market. This is like the cheapest version, one of the biggest. It's open, as I said, 24 hours, and you can pretty much get anything here. So I'm just going to run through quickly and try and show you a little bit prices, what's available. So fruit, obviously, every vegetable and herb you've ever heard of or not heard of is here. Eggs, and like 10 eggs, 2 baht. So it's like £1.25 for 10 eggs, really cheap. A lot of it seems to be closed, but I think some of this is like the butchery area. A lot of the chefs come down here, and so early morning, 4 o'clock, 5 o'clock, this will be packed, busy, and all the good stuff has been bought by the looks of things. Still some crab left. So yeah, you have like soft drinks, and then I'm starting to come into the actual wet market. So like here's all the different prawns. Like some of these things are absolutely massive. So these ones are already dead, but they do have the aquariums with all the fish inside as well. So you can see them swimming around. Yeah, like there's everything. Actually, it doesn't smell bad at all today. I was expecting it to be humming a little, but no. Again, fruits, garlic. You can get all this stuff for super cheap, 20 baht, 50p for a pot with that's about 9 limes in there maybe. Yeah, fish. And so yeah, I mean this is just one strip. There's about 10 rows and a bunch of columns. There's just so much stuff, you know. All your drinks cheap again, 40 baht, 50 baht for mushrooms, everything, whatever you need, they have it, and they have it cheaper. A lot of the places, a lot of the street food places that you've seen, they come here early, pick up all the stuff. It's really, really fresh. Everything comes up daily or through the day, through the night. Meat, like mince, 60 baht, bacon, you know, like you couldn't get it all. And it's just constantly rotating. Deliveries are coming, and for some live fish. So everything is at its freshest, and it does sell. So it's not like it's sitting there for a whole day. I mean, look at the size of some of these chickens. It's beautiful. The light's not great, but the colour of the skin, you know. And here, well, we're talking about chicken. Growth hormone is illegal in Thailand, which means there's no chemical residue left in any of the chickens. They are pretty organic. I mean, they most of them roam free on the farms. They kind of had that scare with the bird flu that kind of destroyed a lot of the stocks, and so what they did was they started again, but they started again in a better system. So there was no antibiotics, well, very little antibiotics, no growth hormone whatsoever, nothing's pumped full of water. They just retain massive amounts of flavour. So while I'm here, I eat chicken a hell of a lot. I don't even eat it in London anymore. It's just so bland and watery, and I just don't bother. But here, I will eat chicken every day. And you can see it's just packed. It's busy on this side. I think the other side was wholesale, and this is retail. Super fresh, yeah. And you can see the cheap prices. 100 baht for a chicken. It's £2.50 for a fresh, organic, proper chicken. You know, some of these are even less than 80 baht. The umbrellas make it a little bit difficult to get the proper colour. Catfish. But yeah, take my word for it. This just jumped out that decided he wanted to be on YouTube. Pastes, again, you won't make better paste than this. Don't waste your time just banging around in a pok. These guys do it perfectly. You can pay 50 baht, you can get a huge amount of paste. I know a lot of restaurants just come here and get their paste because they're professionals. You know, don't mess about with it. And then again, look, without the umbrellas, you can see the colour. Look how beautiful green colour that is. It's just so fresh. The chilies, they're bright red. You know, like everything's vibrant. And you could just come and grab bits and pieces and make some food at home for a change. You know, if it's just one person, sometimes it's just cheaper to go and eat out, but sometimes you just don't want to. Sometimes you just want a simple salad or a Western style food that you're missing, and you can come here and you can get it, or similar. But yeah, amazing market. That's as much as I'll show you. Come down here yourself, take a look. You can spend a day here, still not see everything. It's absolutely huge. Behind there at the back, there's a lot of like shop house type places, and that's where the guys make all the handmade fish balls, handmade beef balls. You know, no processing, no bad food. So this is your place to come. Okay, and just for the last little bit, this is some chickens and some ducks. They are not bred like this. They don't live like this. This is just while they're at the market, just so that they don't run away. You know, people grab them and walk off with them, or you know, they're there to be counted. They will be prepared for you if you buy one. They will feather and or defeather and do everything for you. But yeah, if you're a bit squeamish and you don't want to see it happening, you've got ready-made already. So yeah, no panic. Okay, so two other options, which are almost exactly the same in my opinion. Big C up there and Lotus over here. Lotus used to have an affiliation with Tesco, and these kind of places, the supermarkets, they have absolutely untold parking. They are huge parking spaces. They will be more familiar to a Western viewer. They're a more typical type of supermarket. 7-Eleven is a little bit more convenience. It doesn't quite have a full range, but it has things like toilet tissues and drinks and snacks, but not really like a full range like you would expect from a, say, a Tesco or Waitrose or whatever. So yeah, this is the second option. Okay, so even as you're walking in, you can see there's like hot food options. You know, just in case you just want to stop off and have a quick snack. They have cafes, kaiten style, with the sushi on the conveyor belts. I mean, this thing has everything. Bubble tea, Mishui, one of my favourite brands. I actually really like some of their drinks. They don't have the full range in Thailand, but when I was in Myanmar, some of the drinks I was getting from there were just fantastic. Okay, let me get through this little shopping centre bit and then I'll show you the actual supermarket. Okay, so as you can see, these places are massive. They are superstores beyond superstores, and they do have literally everything. Electronics, so TVs, everything electrical. It's clothes. I mean, you can see for yourself all the household items that you need. Rough idea on some prices. Let's see. So okay, so the clothes is about £2.50 for these items. Maybe a little bit more. Maybe I'll get Siri one of these shirts. Okay, here we go. So Guardian is washing stuff, shower stuff. So 74 baht for like a big tub like that is around £2.20. £2. Let's just see what kind of standard things. Toothbrushes, like a set of 3 is about £3.75. A single one at 55 baht for a single toothbrush, so it's like about £1.20. Yeah, so you can get all of this stuff really cheap. The only thing that's very expensive here is deodorant, it seems. Although look, they have a sale, 99 baht, so £2.20. Yeah, fine. Mouthwash, which I spend a fortune on, but here it's actually really very cheap. But they don't have the big bottles. But yeah, good price. So you can see this is a lot more like a standard supermarket with some extras thrown in. You know, bicycles, and it's more like probably more like a Walmart than a typical British type one. £5 for 2, 4, 5, 6 bags of crisps. That can't be right. Oh, two of those, so 10 bags of crisps for £5. What else do we have? they have just snacks after snacks. All the flavours. None of the new flavours. Laser's been very disappointing this year with their newer flavours. They usually bring out a new flavour once every couple of weeks, but this year it's just been really slow. Red Bull, which sells like crazy. But yeah, generally you can see things are quite cheap, like $2.50 for 6 bottles of tea. Like they kind of bunch things up a little bit here. So hot noodle, it's like 50 pence per average, 50 pence for almost any one of these. £1 for the bigger ones. You can buy them in packets, in bunches. Familiar stuff, Campbell's soup. You know, you're going to pay a slight premium for this, about £1.75. So yeah, if you want to do something at home, you know, like make food that you recognise and that you can't really buy here. So spaghetti, again, 75 baht, or 59 if you want the smaller package, 45. It's getting cheaper, 45 baht. It's about £1.10. So yeah, you can get some proteins from the main market where it's very cheap, and then come here and get your little additional stuff like spaghetti or whatever else. Yeah, it's just got like a ton of stuff. Oil. Again, you're sort of kind of getting reasonably expensive. Again, it's like about $1.75. And I guess these places rely on, because if you look here, like fish sauce is like 29 baht. Everything that's Thai is really, really cheap. And then if you want that slightly Western brand, then the price goes up. So once you learn the equivalents, then you can just start using the Thai variety. You probably won't notice the difference in taste. They do this to kind of make you just buy their product. Chicken cheese balls. I mean, it's going to have everything. Staples, milk in 7-Eleven is 80 pence for a 1 pint. Here it's 95 for what looks like 4. So that's about $2.50 for 4 pints. Cheese is always expensive because they don't really use it that much here. Butter, again, expensive, although it's a reasonable size for the price. The better it is, obviously it's going to be a little bit more expensive, but yeah, like almost £5 for salted butter with a brand that I don't even recognise. So, but yeah, this is what it is. You can buy your processed foods, you can buy frozen pizzas, you can get, you know, anything a little bit middle range, Western, less cooking for yourself, ice cream, you know, little treats, oven chips, you know. Yeah, it's a standard supermarket. And this would be like the mid-range one where you're going to expect to spend a little bit more than you would from the market. Probably got a ton of promotions on, but like, yeah, see, like this cheese now, this piece of Gruyere, which is not that big, £7, you know, it's quite high. So where you're saving a fortune on eating on the streets and getting like the Thai stuff, if you really want your home stuff, then it's expensive, it's going to cost you money. But like if you just want to buy like some fresh meat, you know, 120 is like $2.50 for chicken legs, so you probably get 3 or 4 for that price. So yeah, but yeah, they have stuff. I would go to the market for this just because I know it's fresher, and you know, the supermarket spends a fortune on transport and freezing things and making stuff last longer, so they often have like some additives. So I would prefer to just go straight to the market. But you know, some people just like this, you know, this is their style. So okay, so one more to show you. Oh, while we're here, the important things in life. A bottle of Chang is 34 baht, which is about 80p. 6 for, I don't think they cut much off the price to be fair. But if you want to get foreign beer, I mean, this is pretty good. They've got some craft stuff for like £1 a can, which is cheap. Usually anywhere else you're going to spend a lot on that. So there, it's like $2.50 for these cans. Up to a £5 for the bigger cans. So yeah, the local beer's probably the easy way So look, now Heineken, like 6 for 2.40. That's just over £5 for 6 small Heineken. Again, local whiskey, Hong Tong or Sangsom, really cheap. Legacy, still pretty cheap. But if you're going to get the Western brands, the price jumps very quickly. Okay, water is cheap as anything. 6 bottles there for 130, which is nothing. But you can go into 7-Eleven and you can buy a bottle of water for £6, which is like 15p. So like £10 for that Captain Morgan. That's pretty decent. That's not a bad price. But then you look at the Jose Cuervo, which is not even that good. You know, it's like £20. You know, not worth it. Grey Goose is almost 50. So yeah, if you like your alcohol, Thailand's not the best place unless you're going to drink local spirits. And wine is very expensive also, for what we would buy in the West. But they have a higher tax rate, which is in talks actually now, that next year they are going to cut tax on wines because they want to attract more tourists who can come and drink some wine. You know, they've realised that the worldwide trends, people are drinking more wine, and so like they're going to cut the tax if possible, and then everyone can come drink wine cheap. I mean, they already let you smoke weed, now they're going to let you drink wine. As I said before, if you're a pleasure seeker, this is the country to come to. So this is Villa Market. This is another option, and this is probably the most expensive. There's a competitor called Gourmet Market, which you'll find in a lot of the malls, but they're a little bit iffy. I'll explain a bit more about that later. But so you can see immediately everything's imported. So it's £7 for 8 strawberries. Expensive. It does have a few homegrown stuffs, but almost everything is a little bit higher in price if you're buying fresh. And everything's packaged, which I don't like. I prefer the normal market, which just has it open. I don't need the packaging. I generally find that kind of thing has some sort of additive or something added to it, or there's just no need for it. Chilies, 12 baht. Probably get them for like 6 baht in the normal market. And again, packaged meat. A lot of this is Australian. So even looking at this now, that packet of steaks that's got 4 there, that's £50. Or just under, it's about £45. The Wagyu 1 steak, it's around £70. Like, it's really expensive to get imported food, and even more expensive if it's luxury. So bear that in mind. Unless you're really missing homemade stuff, like things that you would get from home, then these places are definitely catered to expats, and they try to sell at the price which you would pay at home. So yeah, that's like £6.50 for a can of whatever it is. It's a West Coast IPA, so I assume it's Californian. Again, wine expensive. This is probably the most expensive option of the lot. It does give you availability of things though. I mean, if you're missing it that much and you're prepared to pay the extra, all the money you've saved by eating out on the street foods and everything else, you know, you can get it. It's not unavailable, but it's just very expensive. So unless you're rich and you could just afford to just splash out on everything you want, which is living the dream. Otherwise, yeah, for a normal person, this is a very expensive option. But they do have a few things which are reasonably priced, which are mainly stuff that you can get anywhere else for less price anyway. So again, packaged meats, cheeses, like these cheeses are like more than £10. This one. There's a couple of cheaper ones like mild cheddar. Going back to the Gourmet Market, it's actually this place is doing it as well. So it's a little bit dodgy because they're offering this as like a high grade brand. You know, it's from Iceland. Now, if you're British, you know that Iceland is like a terrible brand, and to be charging almost £10 for that piece of cheese, you know, scandal. So they're relying on people not knowing and just missing what they fancy, you know. So a little bit dodgy. Gourmet market does this as well, far more than this place seems to. This place already makes its profit from just being really expensive anyway. But yeah, this is your third choice, I guess. So yeah, that's what it costs to live just buying food for home. Honestly, it's cheaper to just let other people cook for you, take the stress out of it all, just sit on your ass and eat great Thai food. Okay, just another little quick one I'm just going to tack on. They do have boots in Bangkok, and I have no idea what prices boots have in London, but I can tell you that makeup is around £3 to £7. Foundation's like 10. You can get a rough idea from this. They have pretty much all the same stocks that you would be used to. I don't know if it's cheaper or not, but yeah, it's all available. It's one of those shops that just seems to be everywhere. So yeah, okay, you know, everything you need, toothpaste, blah 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 blah. I'm sure they have special deals. I'm sure you can get a loyalty card, all the typical stuff that you would get from anywhere else. They have a lot of this skin whitening stuff, which I absolutely hate. I just think that no one should ever be changing the colour of their skin, but well, you know, it's a fashion, it's a thing, so they have it. Yeah, so boots.